Okay guys, it's Grandma Shannon here, and today we are going to take our first lesson in learning how to crochet. All you need to crochet is some yarn and a hook. Now the hooks come in lots of different sizes and yarns come in different styles. You just have to make sure you have a hook that fits nicely into your yarn. See how that yarn fits right into there in that hook? Okay, now something you need to know about yarn. This is a skein of yarn. Now, when you have a skein of yarn, you'll have one end that has this kind of wrapped around the outside. You have one end that the string pulls out from the middle. Now, sometimes this one is kind of hard to find, but this is what you want to work with because it flows out nice and smoothly, mostly. Now, the first thing you need to know how to do is how to make a slip knot. You always have to make a slip knot when you are crocheting. So we're going to start off. You go like this. You wrap the string around 2 fingers. Then you bring it around and make sure that that crosses over. See how it crosses over right here? And goes behind it. Now you reach in between your 2 fingers and you grab that back yarn. Okay? You let go so only this hand is on this string, which we call the tail. And if you pull on both of them, then you have a nice loop. And this loop, if you pull the string, is adjustable. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. If you didn't catch that, remember, you can always rewind the video. The next thing is you have to tighten that loop up so it's just a little bit bigger than your hook. And you put the hook through. Now, the important thing is that you're going to have 3 points of contact. You're going to have your hook in your dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, hold it in your left hand. That means whichever hand you write with, that's the one you're going to hold your hook in. Now, there are different ways to hold the hook. I hold it like this. This, I was told, is not the right way to do it. When I was learning how to crochet, I kept being told you're supposed to hold it like a pencil. I'm not comfortable holding it like a pencil, so I don't hold it like that. You hold the hook in whatever way is comfortable for you. Okay, so I'm going to hold it like this. Now, you're going to have what you're working on. We start off with the little tail. The tail gives us something to grip on. And then you're going to have this yarn, the yarn that is coming out of your ball or your skein. This has to have a certain amount of tension on it. So what I like to do is I wrap that around my middle finger. Okay, just like that. Now, you can use these 2 fingers to hold on to the work and the hook, and you use this to kind of take your tension. Now watch, what you want to do is you want to take this hook, you want to go underneath that. Okay, now grab a hold of your work right here. I'm going to hold on to that. Now see, I'm going to twist the hook. See how I twist it? And then you kind of tip it and you pull it through that hole. Okay, so that is the motion. You need to learn that motion. You hold on to your string, you go underneath. Make sure you got a grip on this, and you tip it, and you twist it, and it goes through very nicely. This string right here that's coming off the work, coming off your ball, has to have just a little bit of tension on it. If you make it too tight, your chain's going to be too tight, and you're not going to be able to work with it. But if you make it too loose, it's just very sloppy. So you want to make sure there's just a little bit of tension. Now this sounds easy, but this is the most complicated part of learning how to crochet, is learning to get the tension on the yarn and learning the twist of the hook. Watch, you put it underneath it. Always make sure that this yarn, unless the instructions say you otherwise, that this yarn goes behind the hook. You pull it over it, you twist it, and you pull it through. And that's all you got to do. Okay? Show that one more time. Over the back side of it. Now that, in instructions, is called a yarn over. We'll get into that later. So you're going to pull it, and you're going to tip it, and you're going to go through. Now don't try to make shortcuts. I had kids I was trying to teach that were putting it like that and pulling this little loop over. That sort of works, but that's a bad habit. You don't want to get into the bad habit of pulling the loop over. Get this yarn. And you don't have to wrap it around your finger like this. Some people put it through their fingers like this. Some people go around their hand. Whatever's comfortable for you is what you need to do. But what you need to do is you need to make sure you have a grip using these 2 fingers on your work. You have your yarn with a little bit of tension on it, and you have your hook. Now see how that's kind of pulling out? You want to pull that so it's just a little bit tighter. And you're going to go, and you're going to twist it, and you're going to pull it through. Okay? Tip it down, go underneath, hook it, twist it, and pull it through. Now this is the basics of crocheting. You have to get this part done before you go on to the next section. A lot of people want to skip past doing the chain. This is where you learn what you're doing. Okay? You want your chain to be nice and even. You don't want it to be too tight. You don't want it to be too loose. If it's too tight, you can't work into it. Now you're going to have to, when we go farther, you're going to have to be able to put your hook through the chain and pull yarn through it. If it's too tight, it's not gonna work. You're not gonna be able to get your hook in there. Okay? So I want you to work on making a chain. And I want you to work on making that chain until you have a nice long chain and you feel comfortable with it. Like I said, hold your hook in whatever way is comfortable. Sorry, I let go and I lost my tension. Hold your hook however it's comfortable for you. Hold your yarn how it's comfortable for you, but make sure there's just a little bit of tension on that yarn. Okay, and I want you to keep on. Okay, watch. Behind it. Make sure the yarn goes behind the hook. Go underneath it. Twist it. And pull it through. Now I want you to make yourself a nice, long chain until you feel comfortable with it. Until your chain is nice and even. Till you can just do it smoothly every single time. It's hard for me to do it right because I'm trying to instruct you. Now you got to pull the yarn out every once in a while. Okay? That if you leave the yarn in there too much, sometimes that'll cause a problem. So behind it, hook it, pull it through. Okay? This hand should just be twisting. You can use your thumb if you need to kind of brace that. You twist it, you pull it through. Okay, now see, look at this chain. See how they're nice, flat, even links? You want to make sure as you're holding it, that's why it's important to hold on to your work as you're doing it, because you want this to stay in a nice straight line. You don't want it to get twisted. Because if it gets twisted, it's going to make it harder to work with. You don't want the chains to be all different sizes. So you work on this, and you work until you get a nice chain. And if you don't want to use up a whole bunch of yarn, or if you make a mistake, the good thing about crochet is you take your hook out and you pull on it and that thing will unravel. And then you can do it again. Okay, we'll unravel it. And then we'll go back to what we were doing. And see, there's the hole right there. You put it right back through that loop. Make sure that you got it flat. See how I got it nice and flat before I go back to chaining? Okay. So hook and pull through. And that is, I want you to practice on that before you do anything else. And then after you get that good, then go on to the next video and we'll show you what you need to do next.